sort of starts to linger. It's home, I know. If you catch me daydreaming now and forever, thoughts are carrying me along to that place we call home. Down that long road, throughout life we roam. Whenever I go to that place I know it'll always be home, home to me.
Out of the dirty 30s came a ray of sunshine that would spotlight this area above the 60th parallel. It was gold, and it would be the magnet that would lure a horde of opportunists. The prospectors, the miners, their money men, the bush pilots, drifters, people who would stake a claim on the future of this place on the shores of Great Slave Lake. And then out of the rock sprang the city of Yellowknife. Yellowknife today maintains its characteristics as a kind of rendezvous place for those rugged individualists, as colorful as any who came out of the Klondike years before. Yes, history is still in the making here in the first city of the Northwest Territories. The raven's call. Familiar to the north, it breaks the quiet of morning. Anchored to age-old granite, habitation along Yellowknife Bay, Old Town, is the cornerstone of the modern-day city. Habitation with originality. It's part of the freedom of living here. Barb Cameron is one who has come to embrace that freedom.
Well, I grew up in Ontario, which is quite a ways away from here, and ended up going to school in Edmonton and finished university there, and always wanted to come north. Something I always wanted to do as a kid and right through high school, and figured if I went to Edmonton it'd be easier to get north. So came up for the summer just to teach canoeing and kayaking, and thought I'd only be here for a couple of months, and ended up didn't want to leave. As soon as I got up here, it's just so beautiful, and it's just so wild and hard to explain. Like it's almost magnetic, as they call it. You know, it kind of gets you. And so I've been here ever since, about 10 years.
Okay, Bob, thank you. Yellowknife is 150 kilometers south of the tree line. Since the beginning, taxiing people and commodities in and out of the subarctic barrens has been the economic mainstay for numerous air operations based here. For Jim McAvoy and co-pilot, Salty, it's part of the daily routine and McAvoy's life for the past 40 years. Underway, this is the first of many trips he'll pilot today. For a number of the 15,000 population, morning coffee at this local spot, the Miner's Mess, is to take in the daily news or an oft-told story of the tundra, its lore and its legends. Rumor has it that if you spend enough time here, you'll meet everyone you ever knew. It's people that make this community distinctive. From a tent city to administrative capital, those who have gravitated here from far and wide have defined its character. Dave Lovell.
I was 7 years old when my parents moved here. Dad came up as a mechanic for a diamond drill contractor, which does a lot of mining exploration. They sample the rock. It sort of sounds funny, but when I grew up here, it was quite a cosmopolitan type of town in that You know, there are people from everywhere here, an awful lot of German and Italian and Yugoslavian and Swedish or whatever working in the mines.
Sightings on this part of the Klondike Trail of '98, and later a pitchblende find north of here, focused the search for gold. Mike Borden.
The very earliest people probably would have seen the most predominant geological feature in the Yellowknife area, which is the West Bay Fault. It's a very straight line, and from the area, it's very noticeable. And that probably drew an awful lot of attention from the people in the geological profession. They landed, they had a look at what the Yellowknife area had to offer. The first gold, actually, they picked up on the far side of Yellowknife Bay. And it wasn't until about 1934 or so that they really made the first discoveries that would later become the Con Mine.
Atop one of the early claims, this is the original headframe of the Consolidated Mining and Smelting Company, the Con Mine.
The trip down is quite quick. It only takes about 4.5 minutes to go from surface down to the bottom of the shaft.
A mile beneath the city, Borden, an engineer, joins up with a community of mining professionals who continue to chase the payload hidden in the fault.
Yeah, I can't drill 57 and 58. I need to muck it out. So we're going to start on 59, release 4.
Burrowing through the oldest rock in the world, they pursue the currency of civilizations.
It's about 75 to 80 degrees near the bottom of the mine. And conditions in the mine are much like any mine. They're almost 100% humidity.
The forces of nature below and above ground stand fast in a place where it is said that the gold is paved with streets.
Yellowknife, first and foremost, was a mining town. That's what started it, and that's why it's here. You'd never build here without the mines. It's just too difficult. You cannot have a water line here where it stands. It has to be moving. We have boilers all over town that heats our water system. We have a very hard thing maintaining it. You know, the lines break. There's a lot of stress in that on them, a lot of ground movement. When you build a road here, you take off the trees and you take off the shade and you take off some of the moss and you put a paved road or a gravel road in. And the first thing that happens, it's the ice that underlays it melts and you lose it. And you're stuck putting a new line in.
The Northwest Territories, a region of 4 time zones, 1/3 the total size of Canada, with a population of under 54,000 people. 3 1/3 million square kilometers could absorb the continent of India, or over half of the United States. It is a place of contrast, often hostile, more often alluring. Modern-day mobility took me to the world of Walt Humphries. Prospector, artist, Humphries is a Yellowknifer entrenched in life in the bush. Here he pursues his passion for the earth sciences.
Gold we're looking for these days is less than an ounce, so they're mining 0.2. Well, you don't see that in the rock. You don't see visible gold if it's under an ounce usually. So you just have to keep taking lots of samples and get the assays back. And
What kind of an area would you cover in a day?
it depends if you're just doing reconnaissance, where you're just basically doing traverses out and back. You might cover 10 miles a day, 5 miles out, a mile or 2 up, and then back. When you start zeroing in on a zone, you may just cover a few hundred feet in a day. This stuff here is running 0.1 to 0.2.
Is that right?
Yeah. And in some areas you get much higher assays, but this particular piece is about a 0.2. So if you had a ton of that, you'd have 1/5 of an ounce of gold.
A lot of rock.
Yeah.
Okay, now this looks a little just like ordinary granite.
Yeah.
But
that's actually the what they call gray wacky up here. And if you look at it, you can see the little arsenopyrite crystals
yes.
that run up. Arsenopyrite's often associated with gold, so when you see arsenopyrite crystals, you start to get a little excited and take samples of it.
The hammer going again.
Yeah. And this stuff here is running up to about 0.3 or 0.4, so it's got twice the amount of gold as that. And then You're always testing the hardness of different minerals. That's one of the way you tell what's what. So you usually carry a little knife with you. And for gold, gold's fairly soft, so we all carry a pin with us, and if you see a little speck in there and you're not sure whether it's gold or not, if you can stick it with a pin, it's gold, and if it flakes off, then it's just tarnished pyrite.
It's this sophisticated world of prospecting with a pin. The first gold brick was poured in Yellowknife in 1938. Recovered from the ore by chemical process, then mixed with a fluxing agent, it goes into a high-temperature furnace. The international monetary symbol is today a metaphor for Canada's most northerly city. First discovered in the eastern townships of Quebec in 1823, Canada is now third in world gold production. What we see here is valued at more than $1 million. Yellowknife's operations contribute to the nation's total annual output of $2 billion, 10% of gold production in the Western world. It is indicative of the casual, less conforming lifestyle of the people here to find a community of houseboats clustered around nearby Jolliffe Island. They are frozen in for nearly half of the year. This is Barb Cameron's neighborhood, a place where values are important. The daily schedule includes tending her team of Eskimo dogs, feeding them a traditional meal, as they anxiously await the coming of winter.
A lot of things have changed my life up here, learning about running sled dogs and checking nets and just being a little closer to the land. Everybody sticks together as a community, especially if somebody has problems with their anchor lines or whatever, chopping wood or getting boats out of the water to get ready for the winter. Everybody kind of comes together because we all have to do the same thing, and a lot of people live alone, so it's nice that there's a community of people out there to pitch in and help out.
Air travel and urbanization. Development of the North has been directly related to the evolution of transportation. 1,000 air kilometers out of Edmonton, the city of Yellowknife has grown today to become an integral hub for transshipment.
Canadian 446, ready, third timer.
As its role has transformed, so has the urban pattern.
Yeah, Yellowknife first started, there's some sort of contention, but I think about the first year that there was a permanent camp here would have been sometime between 1934 and 1936. At the beginning, there were Con and Giant and the Old Town, and the Old Town was actually where private people first came in. The Old Town in Yellowknife is located about halfway between Con and Giant, which are the two main mines. And the reason it was located there was that, first of all, it was very good water access. At that time, most of the transportation was by boat.
The lake continues in importance. It is still used for transportation, but it is the fishing industry that impacts most on the economies of Detta, Snowdrift, and Hay River, communities on the shores of Great Slave Lake. At the government dock in Yellowknife, catches of lake trout, pickerel, and whitefish are packaged for the dinner tables of New York. Many of the eclectic array of buildings in Old Town speak of hopes and dreams forgotten. Here is the stuff of legends. The Wildcat Cafe, the Snake Pit, Shorty Lovett's cabin. all reminders of the boom and bust era, pre and post the Second World War. The Weaver and DeVore store is one of the landmarks of the original site. For some, the adventure of youth was tied to the founding years. For others, Yellowknife just always was.
There are quite a few people that, such as myself, born and raised here, and have decided that Yellowknife offers enough stability and enough opportunity that it's a great place to live. It's a great place to bring your family up. Yeah, we have several people here that are up in superintendent capacities that are second generation in Yellowknife.
The mother lode, the building blocks of a community. The raison d'etre for a subterranean neighborhood that functions year-round below the permafrost. Here, workforce and equipment endure a contrast of temperatures which can range from 30 degrees Celsius below ground to -40 topside. From the beginning, an ongoing quest.
Output last year was 117,116 ounces. That was an all-time production record. We're aiming for something in the same neighborhood this year.
Ounces of gold from tons of ore.
We've taken the production capacity of the mine from about 800 tons a day a couple of years ago up to about 1,000, 1,100 tons a day now. And we're just gearing up to finish off an expansion to 1,200 tons a day.
The rhythm of the city, deep within its foundations. The winds of change. Transportation, mining, tent city to capital city.
About 1949, it was realized that the old town just couldn't grow anymore. The mines weren't interested in having a lot of non-mine people on their properties. So the federal government put in a sewer and water system in the new town. And the area they chose, the original name of it, it was known as Blunderville, because a lot of people sort of figured who would ever live that far from the lake. By the lake, I mean Great Slave Lake. But Blunderville came in, and eventually a lot of the houses that had formerly been on the lake shore and only accessible by boat were moved across, skidded across the ice in the winter and brought up and set up on new town site lots. And by 1956, when I came here, there were probably about 1,500 people living in the new town site, and another 1,500 in the mines and in the old town.
Change is more apparent, more a factor of day-to-day life in a frontier environment. In Yellowknife, many of the ways that have sustained society carry on just as before. Such is the case of Jim McAvoy. He's a part of the generation of bush pilots whose contributions are honored here. Covering miles of uncharted wilderness, tundra, barren ground, before the days of sophisticated navigation gear meant following a natural feature or human instinct, being your own person.
Good year.
To experience the workhorses that opened the north, the beaver, otter, junkers, Norsemen, is to be reminded of the spirit of man and his flying machine. Yellowknife, the name derived from a tribe of the Dene Nation, has transformed over its brief history. Throughout its transformation, it is the old town, clinging to the age-old granite of Latham Island or Willow Flats that best symbolizes the cycle of change. For a place that owes its history to the rock itself, it is here where the chemistry of fiercely independent personalities living side by side is best exemplified.
Ragged Ass Road in the Old Town is really a famous road. First of all, it's almost all on private property. It doesn't follow the survey lines at all. I don't know who laid these out or where they were laid out, but it would be just prohibitively expensive to run a road over the rocks that are surveyed. So what happens is the road snakes around and goes through private property and cuts some lots almost in half. And you know, you get one lot with 2 full houses and parts of 2 more on it. The cabins or the houses were put where it was convenient, the niche in the rock, the level space, the flat rock, whatever. So it gives the old town a lot of character, and it's losing a lot of that because when the 100,000 homes go in, as they are now, people want them on their surveyed lot, and gradually as these things are straightening out, the town is losing a little bit of its character on that. The one thing about people in Yellowknife, everyone is someone. You know, it's small enough and people do know each other, and if someone's gone, you know, people are aware of it.
Caring and human values amid the challenges of a sometimes unforgiving yet mystical land. Somehow this equation figures into individualism, strength of character, knowing who you are.
You really are someone here, and you can be whatever you want to be here.
Thanks, Ranger. I'll sharpen up.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay. Good luck with her.
Yeah.
Call it done.
Good job.
Transportation for this program was provided by Canadian North, a division of Canadian Airlines International, the North's #1 rated passenger and cargo airline.